record, and then I'm going to share screen. Okay, so in the previous two examples, we discussed the stack that we create ourselves. Is it one is unbounded, one is bounded? And in Java, Java also has a stack class. So if you want to use it, you can import from, so it belongs to Java utility package. Okay, so you import it from java.utility.stack. And then you can go ahead directly use the stack. And a minor difference between this Java stack class and ours is it doesn't call top function. So whenever you want to get to the top item, what it's called pick. So it's called the pick method. Okay, so in stack, it doesn't have the top method. So this is going to be used to retrieve the top item. Okay, then let's see. So whenever you want to use a stack class from Java package, then what we can do is you can use a stack, but the major thing here is let's see, the major thing here is this part. Oh, is that we have the, let me try a different one. So we have the diamond, the angle brackets, and then you specify type, is it? And here we want to create an integer stack. So then you need to plug in that wrapper integer class. And be careful, it doesn't support angle, the primitive type. So it doesn't support. So no primitive type. So if you want to create like a character, then you need to have the character class. Plug in. Or if you want to have a double, then you need to have the double class. Okay, or if you want to have a Boolean stack, you need to call the Boolean wrapper class. Okay, you cannot use primitive type, so just remember that. And each time if you want to use it, you need to create a stack object on heap. We already know that. And then if you want to add item, it's just like what we saw in our previous two examples, you just call the push, okay? And here it's an integer stack, so you can just push the integer value, is it? But you may say, okay, why this is primitive I, and over here the type should be an integer instance object, is it? That's because what? So who knows the answer of this? So who knows the answer of that? This is what? This is because of the auto boxing. Is it auto boxing? So it will convert I to integer. So basically an integer object is going to be created. Okay, so basically on your stack, it's the object. Integer object. And with the value like 10 or something. Okay, so, and then what we are going to do here, we also have a method called search item, is it? And this time we also want to search 8, is it? So let's see our search method. Oh, I need to stop drawing. And let's see our search method. So this search, this time the parameter is what? Is the Java stack class, is it? And we do, you can see it's pretty similar as our last search method. So we first also call the clone to create our stack copy, is it? And you use a while empty loop. And this time, whenever you want to get to the top item, you don't use top, you use a pick, okay? So instead of top, we use pick and to check if it's the integer number that you want to look for, is it? If it is, then you return it. Otherwise, you just keep popping, is it? And if you, after you empty out the stack, if you still didn't find the item, that's why here it's return false. Okay, so we are going to search 8, is it? So this part is pretty similar. And also over here, we do the output our stack, is it? And over here, we want to check, because within our search method, we keep call pop, is it? So is this method ever change? So over here, we call the output to check if the stack ever changed. And you will see it's not get changed. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one over here, this time, let's take a look. And for the second method over here, we create another stack, is it? So this time, this stack is a character stack, is it? So this char stack, so it still has character object. So this is a character object. Is it? And it can have some character within it. Is it suppose like a C or something? Is it? That's what it means. And also, then over here, we also use a string builder. And previously, in our previous chapter, we learned string builder, is it? And so we first create an empty string builder. And what we are going to do is this method, its parameter is a string, okay? So what we are going to do is we are going to get each letter. So we loop through the whole string and get each letter and get each letter to the stack, push it to the stack. And then what we are going to do is we use another loop. This other loop is going to get all of the letters out of the stack, is it? And append it to the string builder. And after we empty out the stack, what we are going to do, we are going to return a string, is it? So then in this case, so my question here is, suppose I have this hello string passed in. So what will be the output after you call the function? So anyone knows the result? So anyone knows the result? So what this function does? Okay, so what this function does basically is what? Is to reverse a string. Is it? So in our first lecture, we learned that one of the benefits for a stack is it can reverse a collection of items, is it? And over here, we use a stack to reverse a string, but the stack type is character, is it? Because you're going to have each letter inside the stack, is it? And when you get them out, you are going to have it in reverse order. Is it? So that's why you reverse it. Okay, so that's the second part. And over here, what we are trying to do is we are trying to check if a sentence is a palindrome. When we want to check if a sentence is palindrome, what that means if the original sentence and its reverse are the same, exactly the same. Is it? If it's exactly the same, then that means it's a palindrome. Is it? So what over here, what we want to check if this sentence. But when we do the check, we are going to get rid of like, so we only count alphanumeric letters. We're not going to count non-alphanumeric letters and space. Okay. So what here we first do is we have another method. We call it a clean sentence. So what this method does is it's going to check if the letter, if the character is a letter or if it is digit, because we only take a letter or digit. And if it is, we are going to convert it to all lowercase, because when you want to compare, you also want to have all the same case. Okay, so what this clean sentence function does is it only takes alphanumeric characters and also convert them to lowercase to get a new string. So we have the cleaned sentence, is it? And then we are going to compare this cleaned sentence with the reverse of this clean sentence. And if both are equal, then we say, oh, it's a palindrome, is it? And for this case, then we can run our program to see the result, is it? So we can see the result. It says, okay, that sentence is a palindrome, is it? And over here, we also see the output of our original stack. Okay, so the second part of our class, we are also done. So for this part, what we discussed is we can also use the stack class from Java package, provided package. It's in Java utility package. Okay, and then in this case, you can use, so you can create various types of stacks, is it? And but be careful, the angle brackets. So here my question is, does the Java utility stack support primitive data type? So is that supported, the primitive? So if you want to use, okay, very nice. So keep that in mind, okay? And if you want to use, you need to, so we need to use the respective wrapper class. And also, who still remembers the most, the three most important operations in stack? Who still remember that we use the most? Who still remember what are the three most important operations in the stack?
Push, pop, and peek.
Yeah, It's so nice. Yeah. Okay. And normally what we use it, we can pair it. So pair them with what? With the empty check. Check using a loop. Okay. And then you can do a lot of things. Okay, so that's, I think, the majority information for today's our Zoom class. So do you have any other questions?
No.
Any other questions? No? And so for today's contents, it's good? So everybody got it? Yeah, and I think we have last part. I can finish it tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to discuss some other applications using Stack. So you can see Stack is quite widely used.